The Switch 2 is finally here. A new console era. We haven't had that in ages, so I'm going to talk about that more for a moment, but just for the folks that have short attention spans, wait a second. This is not going to be a simple unboxing video. What I feel like not enough people are going to do is answer the question, is the Switch 2 screen situation more impressive than the Switch OLED? Just the loss of an OLED screen. That is something that really has grown on me with the Switch OLED. I have a whole unboxing video about that and comparing that with the Switch 1. Spoilers, it is a huge jump on the handheld side. But now we have the Switch 2, which is going to be 1080p, HDR, 120 frame, and it's bigger. But this is a special moment, and I just want to share it with you, because again, like, we just don't have console launches or midnight launches or big moments in gaming anymore. I feel like it kind of just all blends together. So this is just a moment that I want to look back and remember with you, and just curious what your experiences are, or if you're holding off. And maybe this video will help you go like, yeah, I'm glad I held off. I love video games, man, and nerding out about them with you and cheering on you, sharing your opinions, because that's what we do here. We share opinions. Okay, here we are. Sorry, I need to calm down. Oh, I always appreciate, I didn't know it was gonna do this. I thought it was gonna all slide out. Yeah, so, in case you were curious about the unboxing experience, again, that's not, hold the phone. That was such a genuine reaction. Hold on. That screen is huge. Let's already do a quick comparison. I'm gonna need to pull out my camcorder to show you or something, but where's my phone? I can at least, my phone's right in front of me. Wow, that is a huge mama. Wow, that is huge. The big thing that I'm wondering about the OLED versus the Switch 2 especially is the bezels, because like the bezels on the OLED are almost non-existent, which is something that OLED TVs tend to do, I feel like, as well. The bezels on the Switch 2 seem very similar to the OLEDs, and I hope when I turn them on, it will seem that way. The Switch 2 it's bigger, but it doesn't feel heavier. It's almost like the OLED is actually heavier for some reason. It's very similar to that. Wow, so that just stops wherever. That is awesome. So kickstand's very similar, but what's cool about this is having the ring. Anyways, that's not the most important part of this video. I'm just kind of like checking this out. Wow, I'm so happy there's a USB port on the top and bottom. So that's a Switch 2. God, that screen is huge. Like, that's not a LAN party TV, but yeah. Joy-Cons, it's literally just a Switch 1, but bigger. Here's the comparison, in case you were curious. And can I bring it up to the camera? Focus on them, there you go. So yeah, like, it's just bigger. And because it's bigger, it does feel slightly better in my hand. Slightly, not a lot. This is nice. This is way better than the Switch OLED Joy-Con. Oh my God, this feels so tiny. This is where the big comparison is when you're doing it sideways like this, you have to put on that attachment for it to even be feasible. But the Switch 2, oh, this being bigger, this feels right. An ultra high speed HDMI cable. You're gonna need that. Switch 2 can do 4K 120. Oh, the mouse. Okay, hold on, we gotta try this first. I know the whole point of this is to compare the OLED screens, but it's also at the same time like, you know, the moment of unboxing these. These are like the Switch 2 attachment that like makes it a mouse, I guess. Oh, it's funny because I can even see like not the mouse pad, but you know, the thing that makes it soft. Oh, that clicked on pretty good. Hey, that's pretty good. It doesn't feel right. I feel like I didn't do it right. And then how do I take it off? I don't like this. It just feels weird to me, but that's also because I'm not a mouse and keyboard player. But hey, for those that like it, there you go. I mostly just want to get to the hardware. Oh. I didn't think of this. You need a new grip. Dude, that's a lot. It's a lot bigger. You know, the Switch 1 fits on the regular Switch 1, but you wouldn't be able to put the Switch 2. Yeah, you can't because it's built for the magnetic thing. So yeah, that makes sense. That's not as satisfying, dude. That's not as satisfying to me. What's more satisfying? Is it the... That is a bigger dock. That is a bigger dock. The OLED dock is way better than the Switch 1 dock. This is a big dock. And they said it's because there's like fans back here. That's the Switch 2. Let's just... I can't get over the magnetic thing, man. I like the sliding. I'm gonna miss the sliding of the Switch 2. Maybe it'll grow on me, but All right, I have to admit that one was cool. But now is the part that we have to try things. And I'm gonna have to go off camera and set things up, but it's the Switch 2. Why is it so calm? Oh, it's so calm. This makes me like... This makes me emotional. But a big disappointment right off the bat, a very big disappointment. The bezels. It is not like snug on the frame, and that makes it like, it almost feels like it's the same size of an OLED with that. I feel like the speakers on this thing trounce the OLED. Okay, so let me take a moment to kind of set some things up, and then we can try to do some comparisons. Hi, I'm back. I have both systems like transferred and everything, but now I'm gonna try to boot up Smash Brothers on the Switch 2, which isn't the best comparison game for these screens. We're finally here, we're comparing the screens. I don't know, I'm kind of just curious, because I know Smash Bros is probably my most played portable title, other than Breath of the Wild, but... This is really interesting, dude. This is why I wanted to boot up Smash Bros, because we have something to talk about. I've done comparisons of Smash Bros on my OLED for the Switch 1. The Switch 2 is easily better than the Switch 1 screen, but I think it's mostly because of the 1080p aspect. The colors are not that much farther off from the Switch OLED. And this isn't even a Switch 2 edition of a game. The biggest thing to me is the 1080p. I am seeing 1080p on this screen. I can tell. I can tell this is not 720p with gorgeous crispness and colors. This is a 1080p screen that is bigger, and that... It's funny because it reminds me of the regular LED of the Switch 1. Yeah, Smash looks like how it does if I was playing on a regular 1080p TV, which I've seen Smash Ultimate on. Isn't like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom like 2 games that got upgraded for free? I wish this was OLED, but it's like I can tell, obviously the screen size is bigger, but I can tell the 1080p. I don't think there's too much of a jump between 1080p and 1440p. I think there's a slightly noticeable jump from 1080p to 4K. I definitely think there's a jump from 720 to 1080. I can see that. I just really don't like the bezels. The bezels on the Switch 2 resemble the Switch 1's bezels so much. I don't understand why do you have to have these huge black bars on your screen. That really bugs me. I'll just take a video with my phone. Yeah, just look at like how big... Get away from my finger. Just the big black bars on the sides especially, man. Like, those are huge and just minimal on top. It's like, I wish it was all the size of what it is on top and bottom, but maybe half on both. Whereas the Switch OLED, it's just kind of flush. Is there a way to know how to play Switch 2 edition of games? Because they ain't like freaking Xbox where it's just smart delivery and you're just automatically playing the most ideal version of the game. Okay, I am back and I have figured out how to download Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So this will be a nice little, okay, now I can actually play a Switch 2 edition of a game and see it in its supposed full glory. Because I have played Tears of the Kingdom a great deal on my Switch 1. I can already tell this is a completely different experience. But this is, rather than talking about the screen, this is more about the hardware. But even in the main menu, I can tell. Dude! Wow. I mean, I have to admit, I feel like these are AI frames to holy hell. Wow, this is nuts. This is the hardware. This is a Switch 2 moment rather than like a screened moment. I don't think this is 60 frame. I feel like it's 120, but I will say it definitely feels like generated 120. I don't really have a good setup to prove it to you, but just know, I mean, there's YouTube videos of it, and I've seen those YouTube videos, but why is it raining? Wow, and it's gonna be hard to go back to like a regular version of a game after this. Is this worth replaying a game over again? I say no. That's never been a thing for me, but I will say if you've never played one before and you get to see it like this, it's pretty freaking cool. Long and short between the Switch OLED and the Switch 2, it's really, like the colors, I do think, the colors and contrast are definitely better on the OLED screen. That's just what's gonna happen. But, you know, 1080p with the screen size is definitely like a nice trade-off. So if you're debating about like the 450 for the Switch 2 or just keeping your 350 OLED for a bit longer to let the library build up in the Switch 2, that's a fair thing. You know, like you're gonna be missing out on Donkey Kong Bonanza and other games this year, but I'm telling you what, the price of this system is probably not gonna go down anytime soon. In fact, it might even go up. That is unfortunate. It's just a situation. If you want to boycott it, I understand. You're gonna be plenty happy with the Switch OLED. In fact, maybe these will. No, they're not going down either. I'm just saying, a Switch OLED is still very feasible currently before like the library of Switch 2 games gets too daunting. But it's gonna be happening, and the system isn't gonna get any cheaper. It might even get more expensive. I wish it was $399. But still, that size screen and the 1080p are the two things I am like, okay, I guess I'll take it. I'll just comparison, OLED or 1080p, that stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna play some Mario Kart.
Please, give me something to stop Boo. Oh, Boo messed up! Boo messed up! Oh, give me the boost! How did he cross? Oh, suck my pokey.